The Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management Master Planning module, also known as MRP, helps organizations manage their raw material capacity, raw material needs, and forecasting. Let's take a look at how Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management MRP can help organizations plan their purchasing, manufacturing, and inventory to meet customer demands. First, we'll take a look at the Master Planning Workspace. This workspace provides a comprehensive toolset to manage all things master planning. We can choose master plan we're working with and see the related plan orders, run master planning, review planned orders, copy a dynamic plan to a static plan, delete plans, get a preview of what order a planned order is pegged to, firm or convert a planned order to an actual order, and quickly access other parts of the system. Let's take a look at net requirements for the item on this planned order. After you run master scheduling, you can view the calculated requirements in the net requirements form. You can also access this form from the planned orders list, the item record, or a sales order. The net requirements show us the result of the master scheduling calculations broken down by order line or product dimension combination. Specifically on this screen, we can see all the net requirements for item D004 and the corresponding product dimension combinations. In the lower overview, we see each requirement that is calculated and the resulting projected inventory levels. When you select a requirement, you can expand the pegging grid and you can see this corresponding issue or receipt that offsets that requirement. Now that we have seen some of the output from master planning, let's talk briefly about the master planning processes and the master planning setup. The master plan is also referred to as the net requirements plan. It calculates net requirements and is based on actual current orders. The master plan is typically used by companies to control inventory replenishment on a daily or short-term basis. Let's take a look at the master plan setup. Navigate to Modules, Master Planning, Setup, Plans, Master Plans. On this screen, we can create as many master plans as we'd like. We're currently looking at the dynamic plan, which is also considered a short-term plan. Let's take a quick look at all the different tabs. The General tab allows us to specify different aspects of what should be included in the master planning calculations, such as on-hand inventory, sales quotations, plan production settings, as well as forecast settings. The time fences in days allows us to select how far in the future the activated requirement should be calculated for. The Calculated Delays tab allows us to activate whether calculated delays should be included as part of the master planning calculation for this master plan. The Action Message tab specifies whether the system automatically generates suggestions to change planned or firmed orders. The Safety Margin in Days tab allows for adding additional days for product receipt, days deducted from requirement date for product issue, and days added to lead time for product reorder. The Sequencing tab enables planned orders to be arranged based on sequencing attributes that are associated with the finished product. The Intercompany Planning tab allows us to include a downstream plan. We can specify a company and a master plan that will execute as part of this plan. At times, pending unforeseen circumstances, require you to split planned orders manually. This is simple to do. Let's walk through it. Select a planned order, click on Maintain, Split. A dialog will appear. We'll put in a split quantity of 60 and change the delivery date to 12/23. You'll now see that we have an additional planned order. One is the original one with quantity 15, and we have a new order of quantity 60. Let's move on and let's firm the very first order. We'll navigate to the top, click on Firm, leave everything defaulted, and click on OK. To confirm that the production order was created, we go to Modules, Production Control, Production Orders, All Production Orders, and we can see at the very top our newly created production order. The supply schedule allows us to see an immediate 5-day, weekly, and monthly overview of current and calculated demand and supply for a specified item or product family. In our case, we're taking a look at our 6-foot HDMI cables. We can see that for the period, we have a net gain of 35 units. Demand forecasting is the process in which historical customer order data is used to create an estimate of expected future customer demand. Demand forecasting begins with a baseline forecast. The Master Planning module leverages Microsoft Azure Machine Learning to process and generate this forecast. To generate a statistical baseline forecast, we navigate to Forecasting, Demand Forecasting, Generate Statistical Baseline Forecast. In this dialog, we can specify the relevant criteria for our horizon baseline forecast start date, the relevant historic date, and the relevant historic data to include. MRP allows for min and max inventory levels to be set for each item through the concept of item coverage. Min-max keys can be used to increase or decrease the minimum and maximum inventory levels by a defined factor. This feature allows planners to account for seasonal fluctuations in customer demand. On this screen, we can see the factor and thus demand increasing for the spring and summer months and normalizing again for the fall and winter months. Organizations that consist of multiple companies may have a scenario where the selling, manufacturing, and procuring companies are all different. In this scenario, organizations likely have the need to manage inventory between the legal entities. Intercompany master planning provides the ability to create the proper relationship between these entities and run master planning to create the necessary intercompany transactions for procurement and production. Let's go ahead and run intercompany master planning. The master planning has completed. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the intercompany supply and demand. Okay, now on this screen you can see for the intercompany master planning that we ran, we have planned intercompany demand orders for the date that we ran